Dokes. Right now you see the former heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Dokes, coming down the aisle now. Very cool and cocky, confident. His entourage leading him with a bouquet of roses. Michael Dokes, who's really stretched out his career. It was 11 years ago that he won the NABF title, and about 10 years ago that he was the WBA heavyweight champion of the world. And now you see Michael Dokes, leading man, trying to open the ropes for him as he climbs in very casually. Big Michael Dokes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the heavyweight division. Judging at ringside, Howard Ritchie, Aaron Kaiser, and Bobby Cox. Our referee, Mr. Bobby Ferrara, introducing the principals. First of all, in the red corner from Las Vegas, Nevada, he has a professional record of 53 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws. He weighed in at an even 249 pounds, wearing the white trunks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to Arizona the former WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Dynamite Dokes. His opponent in the blue corner hails from Los Angeles, California. He's wearing the green and black trim trunks. He weighed in at an even 223 pounds. His professional record, 9 wins, 4 losses. Ladies and gentlemen, Barry, Mr. Smooth Forbes. Referee Roger Yanis with the, Bobby Ferrara with the instruction.
Okay, you guys know the Arizona rules. I'm here to enforce them. I'm going to caution you now. Obey my commands at all times. I want a clean fight, no wrestling, no shoving, no hitting, and holding behind the head. Good luck to both of you.
This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds.
So there you see Michael Dokes now in meditation, saying a word of prayer as he prepares to go for 10 rounds against Mr. Smooth, Barry Forbes. Michael Dokes, in his last 2 fights preceding this bout, very impressive victories, one over Jose Ribalta and the other against Jesse Ferguson. And you can see that Michael Dokes definitely with a weight advantage. He's kind of round around the middle. That's the way he's always looked, even at his peak. He has kind of short arms, but real good hand speed and a world of experience. His opponent, Barry Forbes, you can see is kind of long and lean. He has a long reach. He's going to try to use that jab and keep Dokes at bay. Maybe drop that right hand in there if he can see an opening. And now you see Forbes trying the jab. Dokes just kind of bulls his way in. Michael Dokes in the white trunks has been through quite an experience. It's been quite a journey for him. He hit the bottom a while back, had a little problem with drugs and things, and it looked like his career was over. But he's he has definitely cleaned himself up, and he's made a comeback, and he is on a winning track. Back in November of '89, Michael Dokes won the WBA Intercontinental title. He beat Lionel Washington for that title and made 1 title defense, and then was stopped by Razor Ruddock. And that was a devastating knockout that Ruddock scored on Michael Dokes, propelling Ruddock up into the limelight, getting him 2 shots with Mike Tyson. But Michael Dokes has come back from that defeat, and working his way back again towards a title shot. Of course, Michael Dokes unsuccessful in his bid for the world title against the current heavyweight champion of the world, Riddick Bowe. Bowe just totally destroying Michael Dokes. But Dokes is not quite ready to hang him up yet. Right now, a very casual pace in this bout. Michael Dokes being more aggressive. Mr. Smooth, Barry Forbes, trying to use lateral movement, but Dokes is right on him. Referee is Bobby Ferrara, one of the fine referees from Arizona. I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Ferrara at the IBF convention held in Albuquerque, and he's quite a guy. A real gentleman and a fine referee.
That's the end of round 1. Here comes round 2.
The bell for round 2 sounds. Michael Dokes' aggression probably got him that opening round. Barry Forbes needs to get that jab going. You can see that he's kind of showing it, but he's really not, he's not sticking with it. He's not landing it. And if he doesn't land it, Michael Dokes is going to walk right through the jab of Barry Forbes. Now you see a jab from Dokes. Michael Dokes, when he came up about 1982, he won the NABF title with, I believe it was a first-round knockout against Lynn Ball. And Michael Dokes' hand speed was so impressive. Lightning fast hands that the world was excited about this gentleman. And he proved to be quite a fighter, and he was the WBA heavyweight champion of the world. He won the title, the WBA title, about 10 or 11 years ago with the first round stoppage of Michael Dokes. That was kind of a controversial fight. You may remember that one at Caesar's Palace. He had Weaver in all kinds of trouble, and Weaver was not answering back. The referee stepped in and stopped the fight. Controversy ensued, so they came back with a rematch, and it was a grueling, grueling match. Came out to a draw, so Michael Dokes retained his title, going twice with former champion, ex-champion Mike Weaver. Right now, Michael Dokes in the white trunks setting a very, he's being aggressive, but it's kind of a casual aggression, I guess you'd say, because he's not coming in like a wild man, but he is pushing the fight. He's pushing forward, coming in behind that jab, keeping his hands pretty high. Forbes with his hands low now, kind of slapping at Dokes as he comes in. I think there's no doubt that Barry Forbes needs to hurt Michael Dokes, or else he's going to be chased down. It'll be like Dokes is like a hound dog. Once he gets the scent, he'll track you down. You need to hurt him. You might remember that tremendous battle between Michael Dokes and Evander Holyfield. It was on ABC television. What a fight. Back and forth, grueling battle. Eventually, Holyfield coming out on top, stopping Dokes, but in the process of just back and forth, a real good match, and Dokes proved that he still has a little bit something left there. And now you see Dokes coming alive here. The crowd likes it. If they get into a straight-out slugfest, I guess Michael Dokes would have the edge. He's definitely heavier, and he does have some pretty good power in his punches. I don't know too much about Forbes. I haven't seen him before. Only read about him. Mr. Smooth, they call him. You can see him trying to move around the ring. Oh, there's a good left hand from Dokes. At the bell. So Michael Dokes sending a little message there at the end of the second round. We go into round 3. This bout scheduled for 10. Michael Dokes in the white trunks, Michael Dynamite Dokes, and Barry, Mr. Smooth Forbes in the green and black trunks. Professional boxing coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona here on the 8-Count Boxing Hour. As always, thanks for joining us, and I hope you're enjoying this matchup. The former world champion against the young up-and-comer. Right now, Forbes trying to do a little job with his left hand on Dokes, and he needs to keep it up. Oh, and Forbes tries to sneak that right hand in. I don't think Dokes appreciated that too much. Now Dokes with a little body shot, little chopping left hand. Dokes, you can see he still has a little bit of hand speed left. It has not all left him. Now Dokes coming in with punches from all angles. That's really what he needs to do, and he needs to sustain it. That's been part of his problem. He's not able to sustain his attack like he used to as a young man. Oh, there's a good left hand from Dokes now. That's one thing about George Foreman. Even as he grew older, he never relied on speed, so he always carried the power with him into his 40s, and he was pretty much just as effective as an older man as he was as a young man. But Michael Dokes does depend on hand speed. Barry Forbes trying to do some boxing now, but that jab is just a token. It's not effective at all. Now a warning to Dokes for a low blow. Dokes getting down low and trying to dig to the body. There's a little 1-2 from Barry Forbes. Dokes just grabs his hands and locks them up. Michael Dokes with his hands high. Pretty good defense. I remember when Michael Dokes was a real young kid, he was one of the favorite sparring partners of the great Muhammad Ali. And he used to really give Ali trouble in the ring sometimes. Ali would have a little fun with him.
Ladies and gentlemen, young John Merlin, at number 10, here comes round 4.
So round 4, Michael Dokes staying on that stool right up to the last second. Barry Forbes was up and ready to go before the bell rang. Again, you can see that Barry Forbes just kind of slaps with his punches. He's not getting his body into the punches, and that's why he has a little bit of trouble hurting Michael Dokes. Dokes being the bigger man. And I really think that Barry Forbes needs to hurt Dokes, or he's going to be in a world of trouble here. Forbes just leaving that hand extended. Now Dokes tries to jump over the top. Again, Forbes trying to work from the outside, Dokes coming up the middle. Barry Forbes just does not seem to generate the kind of power it would take to stop Michael Dokes. And he's not really being busy enough to win the round, so unless he changes his game plan, I think Michael Dokes is on the way to a victory here. There's a good little left. Not a lot behind it, but it did land. And now Dokes digging to the body. He's working down and up. Forbes not sure what's coming next. And again, that would be the experience of Michael Dokes. Through all the fights, he's had over 50 victories. winning the world title and the NABF title as well, and the WBA Continental title. Don't forget, coming up on tonight's show, our main event from Houston, Texas, the Summit, the home of the Houston Rockets. Manuel Robles taking on Kid Dynamite, Danny Romero Jr. in a bout scheduled for 6 rounds. You'll see the entire bout. Forbes now moving his hands a little more, but again, you see he's not really getting any power into those punches. There's a good uppercut. He tried one. It landed, but Dokes just walks right through it. There's Dokes now, gives him a little taste of his own medicine with an uppercut. There's a little left hand from Dokes. The mouthpiece comes flying out. So round 5 is underway now, the halfway mark at the end of this round. Michael Dokes in the white trunks, former champion of the world, taking on Mr. Smooth, Barry Forbes in the green and black, half green, half black. So far, I've scored the fight just about all Dokes. Forbes landing an occasional good punch here and there, but most of the action being taken by Mr. Dokes in the white trunks. Dokes tries that big left, comes up short. And now Dokes lands a combination. And Forbes, you can see, kind of slapping at Michael Dokes. That's not going to do him much good. It might score a little bit, but Dokes is walking right through those punches of Mr. Smooth Barry Forbes. Oh, I like that body work by Dokes there, coming off that combination, coming back with a left hook to the body. There's a call for the low blow now to Michael Dokes. Actually, referee Bobby Ferrara has not had to get too involved in this fight. Both men have been just pretty much staying busy, not a lot of clinching and hanging on. Dokes has a tendency to tire in the later rounds, but so far he's pretty well keeping up the pace here in Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix, Arizona, the land of the IBF light flyweight champion of the world, Michael Carbajal. I believe he has a WBA belt as well, or WBC. He has 2 of the 3 belts. And if you got a chance to see him in his last fight against the Korean Kim, Michael Dokes, a very exciting fighter, possibly in the future of our own Kid Dynamite, Danny Romero Jr., but that's a ways down the road. But just think about it. There's a bout scheduled in town here in Albuquerque now, if you're wondering about local boxing. August 27th. Now, this is subject to change. Everything's up in the air. It may not happen. It may happen. You'll have to watch your papers real close. But right now they're talking about August 27th. Daniel Pitbull Perez in action at Roller West. So keep an eye on your newspapers and listen to the radio and keep your eyes open, because the Pitbull is quite a fighter. He's world rated now. I believe he's rated up to around number 11 in the NABF. And you'll have a chance to see him August 27th at Roller West. Round 6 now underway here in Phoenix. Michael Dynamite Dokes and Barry Forbes. Now Forbes trying a little bit of speed punching with that left hand. Dokes trying that left hand. That left hook kind of looked like Joe Frazier there leaping in. Now Dokes with a little infighting. He keeps trying that left hand, but coming up short, that left hook. Now Forbes starts to show a little anger and land some good punches. Finally, Barry Forbes waking up, but he gets caught with that left hook. Forbes starting to fight back now. I don't know what it was that made him come alive, but both men now trading blows. Forbes landing some good shots now. Dokes starting to slow down a little bit. I don't know if he punched himself out with those quick combinations. And now Michael Dokes kind of backing off, taking a breather. So Barry Forbes answers the challenge of Michael Dokes here in the 6th round. Dokes now coming back again with those left hooks. Good combinations now from Dokes. Punches coming from all angles. Now Forbes looks like the one that's slowing down a little bit. Good uppercut. Just bounces the head of Forbes straight up in the air. Again, Dokes leaping in with that left hook. Michael Dokes doing some good scoring in this round. Forbes doing the best scoring of the fight for him, but Dokes outscoring him here. There's another. That left hand lands now from Dokes. Michael Dokes has found pay dirt with that left hand. Coming back again with a combination. Forbes answering back. Now Forbes lands the right hand to the head of Dokes. Dokes leaps in with that left hand. He likes that leaping left hook. Ooh, Dokes walks right into that one, right on the chin. Fight getting kind of grueling now, a lot of infighting. Plenty of action there in this round. The 6th round with a lot of action for us.
Seconds out, round 7. Coming up, seconds out, please.
We go to round 7. The seconds have been asked to leave the ring, but they're still hanging around. Forbes ready to go. Dokes still on the stool. Round 7 now underway. This bout is scheduled for 10 here on the 8-count boxing hour. You're watching heavyweights. The former heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Dokes, in the white trunks. His opponent in the green and black trunks, taking the left hands, is Barry Mr. Smooth Forbes. Michael Dokes pretty well in control of this fight. The question now has to be, will his stamina hold up? Michael Dokes being a bit long in the tooth for a professional boxer. Let's see if his stamina can hold up here against the much younger Barry Forbes. Forbes now trying some cutesy slapping. It's not going to serve him too well if Dokes gets through that front line defense of the jab. Michael Dokes can walk right through it and pretty well land what he wants. You have to wonder what a younger Michael Dokes would have done against Mr. Forbes, if Barry Forbes would even be around at this time. We had a fast pace in the 6th round. Looks like the 7th round, both men kind of taking a breather here. That left hand was a little low by Dokes. He's been warned several times. But Michael Dokes is smart. He's got the experience to know that going to the body will serve him. Not only does it score, but it has its effect on your opponent. Forbes trying to push Dokes off by the shoulders, and he tries a quick combination but doesn't land. Michael Dokes just kind of walking forward, ducking his head, leaning in. Those leaping left hooks again. Michael Dokes looking like a smoking Joe Frazier, but coming up short with those hooks. Reminds me of the old days, smoking Joe Frazier, leaping in with those left hooks. Boy, when they landed, it would really change the fight around. Joe Frazier, definitely one of the favorite heavyweights of all time. I mean, people just love to watch him in action. And he's still very popular wherever he goes. So that ends the 7th round. 3 to go. Michael Dokes again trying that left hook. He likes it. It's been working for him. Now Forbes doing some real nice boxing. He's coming up a little bit short with the jab and the straight left. But at least he's moving his hands. Again, that jab is so weak that Michael Dokes has no respect at all for it. You just can't throw that lazy jab out there. He's lucky it's Michael Dokes in the ring and not someone like Riddick Bowe or Mike Tyson. Good work now from Dokes with the left hand. I have to say, Michael Dokes really not the fighter he once was. He's still showing me some pretty good work, some pretty good skills, but boy, was he ever something as when he was young. When he was in his prime, Michael Dokes always impressed me. Maybe Michael Dokes could get a senior boxing tour match with Larry Holmes or Bone Crusher Smith. It'd be pretty interesting. I don't think he has any business in the ring with the young lions of today. Although he is giving Barry Forbes pretty much of a boxing lesson here, so can't argue with that. Again, trying that leaping left hook. Dokes is determined to land one of those. Most of Michael Dokes' scoring has been with the left hand. Forbes is very casual in the way he's approaching his attack on this fight. Just kind of slapping, really not putting his body behind the punches. So that ends the 7th round. We go to round 8. Two to go, and there's no doubt in my mind Barry Forbes needs a knockout to win this fight. There's a good left from Dokes. Michael Dokes just knocking the spray off the hair of Barry Forbes. Dokes continuing to bore his way in. Forbes has no way to keep him away. He cannot keep Michael Dokes off. Dokes does not seem overly concerned about getting a knockout. He just wants to win every round. and he is accomplishing his mission. I'd like to thank our cameraman, Ray Scott. You're doing a fine job, Ray. Keep up the good work here for the 8-Count Boxing Hour. Ray Scott. Forbes getting out of dodge. He turns his back and takes off, and Dokes just follows him down. Again, Dokes, like the hound dog, just tracking Barry Forbes all over the ring. He has nothing to fear. Forbes has really not hurt him in this fight. Most of the heavy leather being landed by the former world champ Michael Dokes in the white trunks. Again, Dokes scoring to the body. Michael Dokes looks like he got into pretty good shape for this fight. He doesn't seem to be slowing down a whole lot. And we're already into the late rounds here. So give him credit. You know, the man's working hard. He wants to get somewhere. And now Forbes gets his mouthpiece back. So that ends the 9th round. We have 1 to go. Michael Dokes.
Before we start the final round, when they get up and near the bell, let's give them a hand. These guys are both giving their all. Good foul. Wait for the bell. Give them a hand. Round 10 on its way.
Michael Dokes leading on all the scorecards, I'm very sure. And again, Barry Forbes will have to have a knockout to win this fight. So the men touch gloves, and here we go now. Round 10. This is the final round. Barry Forbes now coming out with a little bit more alive with that left hand. Dokes keeps working with that left hand. Now Barry Forbes flicking that jab out there. But really no sting at all in the punches of Barry Forbes. Michael Dokes has nothing to fear. Problem with the tape on the glove of Forbes here in the 10th round. We get that fixed up. Bobby Ferrara, referee, says let's box. Forbes now sticking and moving. He should have been moving like this throughout the bout. I don't know why he waited till the 10th round. Now you see the best of Barry Forbes coming alive. Good hand movement, good hand speed. Look at him drop those shots in there. And now Michael Dokes says, let me show you what I got. Comes in with some power shots. And now Forbes, who started fast, kind of slowing down. Michael Dokes ducking his head in there like that. Seems like it would be an ideal target for the jabs, the quick punching of Barry Forbes, but he's just not busy enough. There's a good right from Dokes. Right hand landed solidly by Michael Dokes. No question, the edge and power punching goes to the former heavyweight champ, Michael Dokes. Forbes with a better foot movement, but he's not scoring with it, so it's really not doing him much good. Ooh, Dokes walks into a little one there. No damage. Michael Dokes continuing to stalk his opponent, Barry Forbes. And that ends the bout. Let's go to the scorecard. No surprises here. Michael Dokes should come out on top, but let's make it official.
We have a unanimous decision, and let me read the judges' scorecards. First of all, Judge Kaiser saw the bout 98-93. Judge Howard Ritchie saw the bout 98-92. And Judge Bob Cox saw the bout 97-94. All for the winner in the red corner, Michael Dynamite Dokes.
No surprise, Michael Dokes comes out with the unanimous decision, well earned. Congratulations to former heavyweight champion of the world, Michael Dynamite Dokes.
Hi, I'm Bill Tipton from Houston, Texas, and I manage Thomas Tate. Thomas is the number 2 ranked WBC middleweight champion, number 2 in the IBF, number 4 in the WBA. Every time I'm in Albuquerque, I watch 8-count boxing. It's a great program. I recommend everybody watch it.
And his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, representing Colorado,